studio with me. I am super, super excited. We've been having online virtual interviews, so it hasn't been working out so great. So I was very happy that you actually agreed to come to the studio.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming.
It's only a pleasure.
How are you?
I'm fabulous. Loving life. We're African. We're hot. We're there, baby.
And she does look fabulous, guys. We're going to take pictures afterwards, and you guys are going to see. Like, black really don't crack. So, do you consider yourself a superstar? Because I consider you a superstar.
Wow. Not really. I mean, what are the parameters? What are the things that make somebody a superstar?
Their voice is influential in the industry.
Okay. In that aspect, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You are a superstar. and what has made it possible for you to be around for so long? Because you've been around for so long. You've worked across the continent. What did you do to be able to be influential for so long?
You know what? It's passion driven. You know, my three passions in life are women, Africa, and the arts. And now, I mean, it's taken me a while to coin that phrase, but I've always been. I mean, I love the industry. From 2014, I learned to love the continent. And so, and then of course my empowerment. So I managed to, over the last couple of years, it's just merged the three passions together. And you know what they say is that if you love what you do, you never work another day in your life. Yeah. And being with the entertainment industry, everything is just so fickle, and nothing is concrete, and nothing is you can be up one day, down the next day. I made the decision very, very early in my career, and it was actually at the height of Generations, that yes, it's great to be a soap star, but there's so much more that I need to do. There's so much more that I can do. There's so much more that I needed to learn. Yeah. And so I took that leap of faith and found so many other avenues in the industry that allowed me to be there. So although I wasn't on screen in South Africa, I was on screen in LA or Africa. Yeah. If I wasn't acting in South Africa, I was acting somewhere else. You know what I mean? So I've always been pushing myself. I'm a hustler of note. Yeah. My sister from Ghana, Anita Erskine, always says that we dustlers. We divas who hustle.
Oh, I love that. Dustlers. That's a new word. We have to coin that. Yes. Let's make some merchandise. Yeah. So you've worked across the continent. You've worked in theater and film and television. Where do you think the most opportunity lies for the business to grow?
Definitely nurturing talent. Africa, the world is finally standing up to the fact that Africa is hot and sexy, and we have so many resources besides the minerals and so forth. Exactly. So definitely nurturing talent, nurturing the craft. You know, so whether it's teaching TV presenters or actors, or on the business side or the radio side, because what people and what I think even South Africa don't realize is that the power behind media. Yes. And if they were to back it a lot more, we would be a lot more successful. Exactly. If you look at the film industry in India, Bollywood, if you look at the film industry in Australia, why did they start thriving so much? Look at Nollywood. Yes. Why are they now competing with Hollywood? Was because they had the backing. So in terms of that, it's about nurturing the talent. So that's what I love doing. And then finding other avenues. There's just so many. I mean, the world of radio, I mean, this is where it's going. You know, the podcast, it's digital, it's there, it's on the move. You know, you might not have a signal in Ghana, but you can go and record something, and 20 minutes later, you get into an airport, and then you can share it with the rest of the world. Yeah. And what's so beautiful, especially about this platform, is that we can celebrate each other. Exactly. It doesn't matter which corners of the world we are. And we're rising up. If you notice, like wherever you go, there's always an African.
Everywhere, everywhere. Even in China, I always say I once saw Two-Face going to Russia, and I'm thinking, Two-Face, who knows you in Russia? Yeah. And it's like, you'll be surprised. Yeah. I have lots of fans. The place was full. I'm like, wow. Yeah,
yeah. I think the only place, and that's because I haven't really been there, is Iceland. But I'm sure at some point we're going to infiltrate.
Somebody is gone. I'm sure there's a Nigerian in Iceland.
You know what I'm saying?
So talking about superstars, I was actually talking about it earlier. I interviewed Constance Ejuma from the US. Yeah. She's from Cameroon, and she was saying that one of the three things you need to have in order to go out there and look for investment, especially in a more commercial environment. I know South Africa is not yet there. Yeah. Is superstars. Yeah. I don't think we have superstars that you can put on paper and say, if I put this person on, we're definitely making $1 million at the box office.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why has it taken us so long to create those superstars?
I'm just going to be blunt. As Africans, we need to decolonize our minds. We've been taught for so many centuries that we need to come cup in hand and asking for something. We've been taught for so many centuries that we really aren't that worth it, that our language is rubbish, that our religion is rubbish, that our culture and tradition. So we need to start moving away from that. Perfect example, and I always use West Africa as a perfect example because they're leading in terms of the entertainment industry, I believe.
Yeah.
Because they believe in their culture, they believe in who they are. You try and tell a Nigerian to sit down, or you try and tell a Nigerian that they're wrong. Am I right, Sochi?
Correct.
Tell them not to come to work in their traditional outfit.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or tell them not to eat their fufu and so forth. Come on. And that their pepper soup is not good. No, I want to see that situation. But if you see what, for instance, P Squared, what they did with P Squared and the collaborations that they did, they could only do that if you had the backing from either the government or the governors and so forth.
Yeah.
If you look at the entertainment industry, the TV industry, it's all building up. Why? Because people are putting the resources in there. Yeah. They're pushing that out. The collaborations, I mean, they did collaborations with Rick Ross. They've done collaborations with big international artists. So they have the vision. But not only that, when a lot of the Africans were going to the West and to Europe and to Australia and so forth and sending their children to be educated, Nigeria was one of the first countries where the brain drain was coming back to the continent.
Yes.
So you're not just dealing with
the local
Mr. Obama from down the road. You're dealing with somebody who's probably got 3 PhDs, a double master's, and is just like studying another couple of degrees just for the fun of it. So you're dealing with that level of intelligence, and you've got that level of pride. And then, of course, you've got the finance and the backing behind it.
Yeah.
So in terms of moving forward as the entertainment industry, as Africans, we need to galvanize. We need to come together. We need to understand and believe in the power that we have.
Yes.
We can't be, excuse my language, pussyfooting around the people that are coming from the West purely because they've performed in Grey's Anatomy. And actually, I say that. But I'll never forget, I was on the red carpet with the fantastic actress Lydia Forson from Ghana.
Yeah.
And we were at the African Movie Academy Awards, and it was 2013 or 2014. Now, I mean, Lydia Forson, I mean, she's a name to be reckoned with. And there was a presenter who, I won't mention the show, but I did train.
You have to mention the show.
I trained this presenter, and she's in the middle of the interviewing Lydia Forson, and she goes, "Oh, sorry, we got to stop. The guy from Grey's Anatomy is here. I've got to interview him first." Well, I let her have it. I was like, "This Isaiah who? You're stopping an interview with Lydia Forson on our continent?"
Oh no!
For somebody who's just been kicked off his set because he's homophobic. Seriously? Let's focus.
No.
Let's focus. Lydia was just gobsmacked and just, and that type of thing and that type of attitude we need to move away from.
Yeah, we definitely do need to. That is so disappointing to hear. You have to tell me after the show who did this, because we need to be calling them out.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why they do it, because nobody's calling them out for it. I'm thinking Pan-Africa. You believe in the Pan-African Vision. I believe in the Pan-African Vision. And because we work in the entertainment industry, we see it because music has shown us that the opportunity is in an integrated market.
Yeah.
And I look at when DSTV was first starting out, even you started out in Generations, we were watching Generations across the region.
Part of the continent are still watching my episodes of Generations.
Exactly. You know, Jacob's Cross was a Pan-African production. Yeah. Channel O was Pan-African. I feel like 10, 15 years ago, we had it.
Yeah.
And then somewhere along the way, we lost it.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, I think the money from the West came in. It's still, once again, that decolonizing of the mind. One perfect example, Studio 53.
Yes.
Studio 53 was, we were told, which is, I understood whether the reasoning behind it was that they didn't want too many South Africans on screen that were going across the continent. Okay, cool. So I was told to leave the show because of my passport.
Wow.
But what the research that they didn't do was that when you spoke to people from across the continent, every time I went to a different country, people were like, where are you from? And when I would say South Africa, a lot of them were so confused and so surprised. And the thing is, that for me was just the beauty about being Pan-African. So and when we were in studio, we never ever said where we were because we needed to be someplace in Africa. And that was the beauty about it. So to go back to your question, is that what went wrong is that I think people got scared of looking at the cultural and the traditional aspect and the power that lies within Africa. And then now you look at 53 Extra. It's a great show, but it's a replica of like one of those e-news entertainment type of shows. You know what I mean?
There's no originality at all.
Fareed Kimani from Kenya has now revived a similar type of show called Mashariki Mix, which basically looks at the food, the travel, the decor, but only focusing on the content, which is incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
But I think what people need to move to and move away from is trying to emulate the West.
Yes.
You know, you look at the music videos. Now, slowly, you see like the Africanism coming through. And that's why I love East Africa, because you can have an East African artist, but then he'll be rocking up in his Maasai trades.
Exactly.
You know, and he's wearing his like Maasai, his Maasai mask and so forth, which I respect that. Whereas with South Africans, only now do you see people starting to embrace that. But it's taken us a long time to get there, and we've still got a long way to go.
We definitely do. And you've had experience, obviously, working everywhere.
Yeah.
You've worked in film, and I feel like you could do anything. Why did you choose talent?
Well, the thing is, with talent, I can do everything. So I'm nurturing the talent, which I love, because I also believe as artists and as performers and producers, especially female, we know what legacy are we leaving behind. So that for me is part of my generational legacy, is that if I can pass on my skills to the next person, at least we're still going to keep that fire burning, number one. Where I'm moving to with my talent agency is that any production that we get involved with as the agency has to involve at least 80% of Waka talent.
Yeah.
So we're going to be producing our own content, and one of the problems with African producers have is that we've got thousands and thousands of hours of content, but we don't own any of it. So now it's getting to the position where whatever we produce, we're going to be owning.
Yeah.
And why my agency is also so small and I've kept a boutique is because it's not just about having artists, sending them to a voice audition or sending them to a commercial. It's actually about building up their brands. Yeah. So what do they represent? What other brands can we connect with their brand? How do we get them across? We've now finally managed to get Chris Artol, and he's in LA at the moment. So he's hustling at LA and trying to work on that side of the industry. Yeah. You know, so where I am, it's also just the business model, but it's also just spreading out as much as I can. You know.
Well, it seems to me that South Africa specifically, I know across the continent we are scared of new.
Yeah. we hate new.
We're very scared of new, and I believe when I look at around the world, or especially the countries that have managed to fast track their development in the last few years, they really focused on building local brands, and they used the entertainment industry. I'm talking about China, Japan, Korea. They used television to promote that local culture, to promote local brands, so that money stays in. Yeah. And one of the signs of a healthy industry is how it allows new people to come in. They're always looking for new, fresh, young, always looking for the next. And I think it's across every business, every industry. Yeah. It's about the next innovation. But it seems here, the industry is this little tight, neat little family. And to get in is so difficult.
Very, very difficult. And then even when you are in and you've been there for a while, it's like, okay, you've been here too long, now we need to push out. And then with me, I'm stubborn. I'm like, no, I'm not going anywhere. I will find another loophole.
You did it right. You are now bringing the next, which is what everybody is really supposed to do. But there's not a lot of you. A lot of people are trying to keep their little spot.
What people need to understand, and especially, and I'm going to speak from the woman's perspective, is that we're so worried about somebody taking our position. Yes, that happens in corporate. It happens in every industry. But if you do it right, there's space for everybody.
Yes.
And we also, I strongly believe in the saying that there's a season for everything. Yes. So when my time for Studio 53 came to an end, yes, I was totally devastated. I mean, I think I cried for maybe 3 months afterwards. But I look back and the experience that I gained and what I'd learned, that's where I learned to become a director. That's where I learned to become a producer. I got exposed to the continent, got exposed to the most amazing people. So I thought, what is God's message with that? Where is He? What must I could have either just gone back to acting, gone into film. I was like, let me take what I've learned, which is incredibly unique and incredibly special. And I appreciated that, because not everybody has that opportunity, and to take it to the next level, you know. So in terms of people keeping it so close-knit, is that if we were to branch out a little bit more, and especially